Good evening, everyone. It is October 12th, 2023. I apologize for the abrupt opening. I did not seem to have a video loaded. As you noticed, you do not have Mike L. Tonight you have Sarah Paranormal with Paranormal 101, but luckily enough for me, I have the very talented, incomparable author and investigator to help me tonight, Miss Sin Schrader Hill. Hi, Sin.
Hey, thanks for having me. Sorry, I am in my truck
You're in
outside the
we
wellness center. So here I am.
we appreciate you always and forever, Sin. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. It's been a while since you've been on 101. So,
Yeah.
what we started doing is back in the day when I started my team and we started growing and adding members, I actually wrote like a 58-page handbook because I'm that crazy person that decides to write a handbook.
No, you're just detailed.
I'm very detailed. In my former life as a corporate trainer, it was my job to write policies, procedures, and handbooks. So this is sort of what I did. So I took a lot of things, and just to explain it to everyone out there, where I'm taking the information from my end comes from my background of studying parapsychology and being a parapsychological field investigator. So not everyone works that way. So before we even got back into the handbook, I was thinking tonight if we could just talk about how, when you're talking about Paranormal 101 and you're teaching people that have never investigated before or are very new to investigating, I'm very leery of anybody in the field that says, this is the way you have to do it.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Because if somebody in the paranormal field tells you they have all the answers and that they just know,
You run.
don't listen to that person. They don't know. They don't know.
No.
So, here we're going to try and give knowledge from our experience, but I don't ever want to say that I know or that I know better than anybody else out there, because I definitely don't. I definitely don't.
No, and none of us do, but it's just what we get comfortable in doing. And it seems like the more comfortable we get in one aspect of it, like audio, that's the thing I'm comfortable in, audio.
Yeah.
So you learn more and more of that. Seems like easier than some of the other things. I'm not as technically oriented as my two team members. So I rely on them to be a bit more tech savvy.
And that's why we have a team, right? So hopefully we all have different talents that we bring together, and we all keep each other honest and check each other's egos when they need to be checked, for sure.
Absolutely.
And the other reason we wanted to do this course when we started, and now we're getting into doing it in a more structured format, is that so Mike and I started our new show, Is It Legit, last Monday. And one of the things we're talking about, are they legit, are paranormal diplomas. Have you seen these?
Yes. Oh, I watched that show. It was an incredible show. I love it. And please don't stop doing it.
Oh, no, we're not.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
But the paranormal diplomas thing gets me because people charge money for things that is just out there for free. And I think what people are really paying for is for someone to just put it together for them in a basic way that makes sense and that's just easy to digest.
Right.
So that's what I want to do here. And it's free because, knowledge should be free, especially when it comes to the paranormal, which there's so many theories and then none of it is really, we haven't been able to 100% prove any of it. So to charge somebody a bunch of money.
And don't the bigger groups, TAPS and Ghost Adventures, don't they offer like a kind of a certification through them? as
for
well.
teams. For
And
teams. Yeah.
yeah, come on. Just go learn from a team that's been there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was saying. Like, if you're brand new, the best thing you can do is just go start investigating with someone. Or if you can't find people to investigate with, then watch YouTube, listen to podcasts. Hopefully we become one where people can just go to and listen to that. But I feel like the taps thing and the bigger ones like that, you're paying for the name and that's it. Because then you can put taps behind your team and people recognize it. It's like eye catching, right?
Right, right. And people, because they watch the show, they're like, oh, it's taps related. They've got to know what they're doing. Well, not necessarily.
Right.
You just got a certificate that says taps on it that you're oh gosh. Yeah, no. Just let's go on to another subject.
Let's go on to another subject. Well, let's start with our subject matter then. So last week, Mike's probably going to want to go back to this. He made me start on the table of contents. So last week it was Rick, Mike, and myself. We never got through the table of contents.
What?
He just started asking me questions based on the table of contents, which is, he's like, we could spend the whole year going through the table of contents. Well, since he's not here, I'm going to jump to the first chapter. So let me see if I can screen share this. I don't think you'll be able to read it, but maybe people will be able to see this. There we go. And I can make it bigger. Let me see if I can get rid of this thing and make it bigger. There we go. Okay. So the one thing Mike was confused about, he said, so why do you have a chapter on kinds of spontaneous cases? Like, what is a spontaneous case? And I think the thing that people don't realize is there are actually people that study this stuff in labs. Like, they actually try to recreate paranormal activity in labs, especially when it comes to like psychic activity and PK and that type of thing. So any type in the parapsychology field, anything that just happens in real life is a spontaneous case. So I'm going to skip this one right now because we don't have to go. So let's start by talking about apparitions, because labels are important, I guess, just so everyone's on the same page. So when I say the word apparition to you, what do you think of? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
The first thing I think of is a full body ghost.
Okay.
And I think that's what most people think of when you say apparition.
Right.
But it can be other things, and I think you're about to explain that, right?
I am about to explain that. So in the field of parapsychology, an apparition is going to be any case in which a person who is not dreaming, ill, mentally unwell, or under the influence of drugs describes seeing a figure or object which could not be that of a real person or object, or hears a voice when it is certain that no one spoke. It is highly likely, it does say, that most such experiences are hallucinatory. However, some of these hallucinations may be called vertical in that they exhibit correspondences not easy to explain with external events or with experiences of other participants. So that's just like parapsychology fancy talk, which saying you have to rule out, obviously, mental illness, drugs, hallucinations, those types of things. But it's seeing or hearing a person that is not otherwise there. If you study further, they tend to define apparitions in the field as an intelligent spirit. So an apparition, even if you're not seeing it, if it's hearing if you're hearing it and interacting with you, it's someone that is there, as opposed to what they would call a haunting, which is what we would call residual.
Okay.
That's just the terminology they kind of use. So we've kind of used that too. So an apparition is seen or heard, but it is interacting in some way with the residents or the people in, whatever area that they're sort of in.
And it could be good energy or bad energy, right?
Right. And we have this discussion all the time, and I don't think people kind of take it as a joke. They're like, oh, I know that somebody, if they're an a-hole in life, they're an a-hole in death. I personally find that 100% to be true.
It is true.
Just because it's nasty, it doesn't mean it's a demon or a negative entity or anything. It's most of the time it's just a jerk.
Exactly. And they can be big jerks.
Yeah.
And they can be worse jerks in death because they can learn how to manipulate things around you and cause more havoc because you can't see exactly what's going on, and they can just mess with you more.
Yeah, absolutely. Or they have some sort of vendetta, some sort of mission. And there's all sorts of theories as to why, people get stuck. And we're talking about apparitions. We actually are talking about people that are stuck. It's not the recording of them, of their energy. It's actually them. They're still there. So they are either stuck there or they're choosing to be there. And I feel like I've seen both. I don't think it's either. I think it's either or.
Right. I think I'm glad you said, I'm glad you cleared that up because not all of them are stuck. They have chosen. And some of them I have found over the years are stuck because they're afraid to go on. They don't know what lies beyond because of what they were brought up as kids learning about heaven and hell. They know they've been bad in life and they don't want to go to hell. So they're stuck up here and they're aggravating anybody and everybody they can and making just mass, just bothering the hell out of people.
You hit the nail on the head there, because I was going to say, when I've seen people that aren't stuck, they're choosing to be there. They're choosing not to move on. A lot of times it's because they're afraid of judgment.
Yep.
It's the idea that they learn in life that they are facing some sort of either damnation or judgment. And oftentimes when I've seen this, it's been really like Judeo-Christian people that were brought up in that sort of hardcore religious community, and they don't want to be judged. They're like, I'm just going to stay here. But then they're mad about it, right? They can terrorize the occupants. I've seen them terrorize other spirits. That's the thing too, is sometimes if you have a home with more than one intelligent spirit, there can be a bully.
Yes. And the thing is with them too, the more negative they are, they tend to cause negative energy around them. People might become depressed, upset. They might argue among themselves, different. Somebody might have lost a job and now they're home more. Now they're arguing more. Well,
right.
This entity is feeding off of that, making everything worse. They're getting stronger, the energy, and causing more hoopla around them and just becoming more of an asshole than they even were in life. It's craziness.
Yeah. I came across one recently that there is just a nasty person there. And it's become pretty clear that he wants to deliver a message to the homeowners, the current occupants, but will not give us the message. Just will not. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I don't know. You're saying you're still here because you need to give someone a message. Is the person you're trying to get a message to here? Why won't you just give it to us? Why won't you tell us who you need to give it to? But they won't talk to us. Will not talk to us, the investigators.
You're going to have to get Mark on that. He'll do a remote.
Maybe.
He'll do a remote for you. Yeah.
Because it's just like, well, I don't know how to help you, dude. I'm worried on that case, actually, because one of the occupants is extremely elderly. I'm talking in the upper 90s. And I'm like, is he waiting to give him the message? when he passes. I
Um,
don't
is
know.
is the older man is a man? Is that what you
It's
said?
the it's a the spirit is a man, and it's an older man that lives in the house. And
Older
there is
man.
some connection with the Korean War or some war. I don't remember now.
Okay, probably Korean. Probably Korean.
Yeah,
Or it could be Vietnam, either one.
yeah.
But is he very sickly?
Yes, and the spirit is terrorizing him to the point where he won't leave his room to go to the bathroom. And now he's living outside in the shed.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
He moved
no.
into the shed. It's a nice shed. It's got AC. I mean, like, because this is Florida, but still, if you have an older person that feels like they can't even be in the house because the spirit is so terrorizing, I mean, grabbing his head at night, grabbing his toes, playing with his hair. It seems like his room is on fire. It's filled with smoke. This poor guy can't even live in his house, but nobody could get a message. Nobody can get a message out of this spirit. We've had mediums there. So I don't know. That's just an example of a just a grade A jerk.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful though. That's
I
awful.
know. I mean, it's not always happy. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just not. And who knows? You could spend, I think we've been back to this place 3 or 4 times now. It's been going on for over 8 months, like almost since I started the team. And you don't get a resolution. People need to understand that sometimes too, is that you don't always get a resolution.
No, unfortunately not.
No.
And two, a resolution you might get, and I'm talking other residential and other commercial places or whatever, might be something completely different than the owner wants to hear, and they refuse to believe it. Like, oh
Yes.
well, this is what I got. Sorry, this is what I
Yeah.
got.
So we have this that sort of almost goes into a sort of, I won't say argument that I was having with Mike, but it was an argument last week about disclosure of information. So we had previously on the Clips show, we had a piece of evidence that the gentleman did not give the EVP to the homeowners because protocols were not in place at the time. He didn't have film footage, and he could not rule out that it was not him speaking and not the spirit. So, okay, so, yeah, I know. So I'm like, that's not an EVP. You can't use it. It's not evidence.
Right. Exactly. So, but he brought it on the Clip show?
Yes, he did.
No. If you can't give it to the client, why is it good enough for the Clip show?
Well, but this is my point. I said I wouldn't have given it to the client. I wouldn't even consider it an EVP. Yes, could it be? Could it not be you? Yeah, it's possible it wasn't you, but it's also possible it was. And Mike was arguing with me, you have to give everything to the homeowner and let them decide. I'm like, really?
No. If you have any doubt whatsoever that it could be you, you can't use that.
No, it's not usable at that point.
It's got to be out, because you've got to be skeptical about everything and anything, and you try to disprove everything that you can, and what you've got left over, that can be what is considered possibly paranormal, because it's never definite.
Right.
It's never definite. It maybe this is the part that we can't explain right now. This is what we've got. We can't explain it.
Right. And I'm only going to do that if the protocols were in place. When we had the evidence, we took the evidence, and we gather everything, and we'll attach the evidence, and we'll come up with our recommendations, and people can either take that or not. But I'm not going to just give them everything and let them draw their own conclusions. Because if we're talking about, now let's stay in the vein that we're talking about apparitions. And so we're talking about cohabitants, really, roommates. It's just that some of them are alive and some of them are not alive.
Yeah.
So we as paranormal investigators, when we leave, I mean, I understand some people want to move spirits along. That's a whole nother issue. But let's assume we can't we can't for whatever reason. They have to live,
Okay.
they have to be together in the same space if the people aren't going to move. So you don't want the homeowners operating under some type of false assumption about the spirit either. I guess,
No.
I mean, I don't know how you work that when these two things have to coexist. This living spirit and this deceased spirit, this disembodied spirit, have to now coexist in the same place if they decide they're not going to move. How do you handle that?
Well, it's easier if you can figure out if it's family oriented or not.
Yeah.
It's possibly a family member that's passed like 60 years ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's different as to somebody coming into a new house, finding it haunted because of whatever reason, and not knowing anything about anything,
Right.
and you try to find out as much as you can. And when you do find out whatever it is, from EVPs, from video, from anything like that, and trying to get as much evidence as possible and have as much evidence to happen at the same time.
Yes.
That's the best kind of evidence, when you have more than one thing that agrees, But then helping someone through that. I mean, mostly what I have done since 2020, when all hell broke loose, was teach people how to clear their homes, how to smudge, how to use Florida water, how to use salt water, things like that. And they feel, you give them a sense of, okay, I'm in charge of this.
Yeah, I see
It's
that.
my home. I
Yep.
can clear this area. And that's really what you want to give them, that feeling that they're in charge. They don't have to be run around like crazy with things like this.
Yeah,
So
I like that. I like that because I see that too. I say even if it's the placebo effect, even if it's not the method that's working, giving someone a sense of control and something to do helps raise their energy
yes,
to a point where they can either handle it better, or if it is something feeding off of them, it'll just leave.
right.
Now, if we're talking about apparitions, so when we say apparitions, we're talking about a conscious, intelligent spirit. Our clients, the homeowners. So where do you fall on ethics in regards to the spirit? Is your client also the spirit? If you find it's an intelligent person, it's reacting with you, it's answering your questions, it's giving you EVPs, and it's a person. What are your thoughts on that?
Depending on if it's I don't say attacking, but causing negative things around the house. If it's causing more upset than not, and they're just having a hard time living with bumps in the night and hearing footsteps down the hall, and they just don't want any part of it,
Right.
then that's again when some saging can come in, and you can just teach that and teach them. I've given out prayers for people just to say when they're scared, and
Yeah.
it's an archangel protection. Very short, very short. Raphael in front of me, Gabriel behind me, Michael to my right, Uriel to my left, heaven above, earth below. I am protected. And that has given a lot of people just, oh, okay, I can say that whenever I want to. Yeah, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. It's finding what they feel comfortable with. I've sent out meditations. Just go
Yeah,
through this
exactly.
meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, just anything to get them calm. And then if the spirit isn't a negative spirit, well, maybe it needs some attention as to why it's trying to contact them.
Right.
You know, is it trying to move on? Is it trying to let them know that they have a wire issue in the house that needs to
Yeah.
be checked? That has come up before.
Oh,
The
yeah.
spirit actually telling the family that they needed to check their wires because it was about to cause a fire.
Yeah. Sometimes it's protective. Sometimes
Yes,
it's there for protection. Absolutely.
absolutely.
And I think sometimes the things they do to get our attention come across
Yep,
as scary.
yep.
I liken them to like a little kid, you know what I mean? When they first learn to walk or they start to run, they start to get some momentum, you know, and then they're like, and they overshoot and they
Hi.
go flying. I mean, I feel like maybe a door slam or a hard knock or something getting flown off its, you know, flipped off a table is just like them trying to get our attention. But
Sure.
we don't know how hard it is to do that, or if they're a new spirit and they don't have their like little spirit legs under them. They don't know like how much energy they need to do that. So the door slams. They were just trying to close it.
Yes. Like probably like door slam and went, oops,
Yeah.
didn't mean to be that loud.
Sorry, I scared you. I'm just trying to show you something over here. So
Yeah.
yeah, we have to sort of accept that maybe sometimes they're here to help us too. And so when it comes to that, I feel like sometimes, I don't know about you, but when I'm investigating, I get almost as attached to the spirit as I do to the living people, especially if it's a sad or misunderstood spirit. And I have had cases where honestly the jerks were the living people. And
Yeah.
they were terrorizing the spirit. I mean, for real. So I had a case, and the spirit, the homeowners believed that the spirit was being haunted by a woman that had lived across the street that had unfortunately committed suicide by hanging herself in the tree outside.
Okay. They thought they were being haunted by the one that hung herself.
Hung herself. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It was during the pandemic. She was a nurse. She had been laid off, and they had alluded to that she had problems with substance abuse and all sorts of other things, and just had really a lot of bad things to say about her. And through the course of just really good interviewing, most of it came out then, and then research, and then the actual investigation and talking to this woman who was not in the home. She was outside the home. She was outside by the water because they lived on the water. She liked the water. But it turns out that the husband maybe had been very inappropriate with her, and that they had actually turned quite a few of the neighbors against her.
Oh
Saying,
no.
yeah, saying that she was being inappropriate with him or after him or whatever. And so it ends up she loses her job. She has all these problems during the pandemic. She has no one. She has no one, and she commits suicide. And all she wanted was for the neighborhood to stop talking about her. She's like,
Wow.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
So, you know, stop spreading rumors, stop spreading gossip. I can't say it's all their fault that she died. Obviously, there's a lot of issues there. But in that case, it was the living people being the jerk. And then you have to deliver that message.
Wow.
Like,
How
stop
did that
talking about her.
how did that go over?
Not well. Not well, because I'll tell you, God, it's so hard. And this is where I get into like little verbal fights with like Mike and stuff like that. Cause it's like, you have to tell them everything. And I'm sitting here trying to tell the husband and wife, and the female spirit had told us through spirit box and EVPs and things like that, that stuff that he had done to her and that he was lying, that was like, we can't prove this. We can't prove all of this happened. But it really seemed like he was like making her do stuff for money. But I can't, but we couldn't prove it. So can I say that in front of them? No, I can't. I can't say that's messing with someone's life. That's totally unethical. Completely unethical. And I can't prove that it's true.
No, and I guess probably the only thing you could have done in that situation is to say, okay, yes, that's probably who is haunting around here, but she's only haunting around here because she wants to rest in peace.
That's what I said. I said all she wants is for everyone to just let her go. Just let her go and be at peace now.
Good for you. Yeah.
And, some of the evidence we had pointed in that direction, like, that we had on video and stuff like that. So we shared that and let them draw their own conclusions for that. But when I delivered that case file, it was just silence and then, okay, bye.
Boy.
This is the most uncomfortable phone conversation I've ever had in my life. Bye.
Yeah. You know why? Because he knew that you had found out something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah.
He was like, oh, please don't bring this up in front of my wife. Please don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The dead will rat on you.
Yeah, they will. Especially if you've done them wrong. If you've really done them wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the whole purpose of calling paranormal investigators in that case was honestly to continue to harass this woman in death. So that was one where like our ethical like considerations completely shifted to the apparition, to the spirit, to this woman. We're like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like too that this guy had told lies to his wife, which made her this woman.
It made her hate her,
Yeah. And she had no reason to hate that woman.
No. She didn't, because it was unwanted attention. She was not after her husband. It was the other way.
He sounds like an ass anyway. So that means he's going to be an asshole ghost.
Yeah. Yes. I hope he's not haunting anywhere. I don't have to deal with it. Don't call me when your husband dies, please. I don't want.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to. So so sometimes we have to ethically consider the spirit as well as the living people. And there is a boundary. There's personal boundaries. Personal boundaries when it comes to sharing information. There's personal boundaries when you're talking about having people sage and take control. Part of that is setting boundaries in your own home. And I've had people call me and all they've needed is someone to tell them it's okay to say, this is my house. I know you're here. If you have something to tell me, can you tell me in a way that is not scary, that is not disturbing my property, my personal space, or my peace? Like you can set boundaries with the dead in a firm way that's not nasty. Which I feel like leads us into like the next part of the discussion. So when we're dealing with apparitions, do you ever go in and provoke them to give you information?
Do I provoke?
Would you provoke them? So do you ever get confrontation? Is there any instance in which it's okay to become confrontational with a conscious spirit?
The only time I've become confrontational with any spirit is when they've jumped me.
Oh, yeah.
And come at me full force, nausea, headache. I mean, all that. Just, you feel it in your gut. You can't think. Your head's killing you. And that's the only time I said, you got to get off me.
I think you froze.
I will talk to you, but get off me. Yeah. And they will, because like you say, like a toddler, I was just trying to get your attention. Okay, maybe I got too much. I'm sorry.
I was just so excited you were here that I rushed at you, made you feel incredibly ill, and then scared you.
Yeah.
My team laughs at me because they have it on film. I know it's going to get played somewhere once. I punched a ghost. I punched a ghost. I punched a ghost because he came so close to my face. And he was doing this. I'm going to show you what he was doing to me. I'm doing the EST. I'm blindfolded, right? I'm blindfolded. I'm doing the
Okay.
EST session. So I'm seeing this, but I'm not seeing it, okay?
Okay.
But I can see in my mind's eye, and I can feel him in my face, like almost like feel his breath, and he was going, peekaboo.
Oh my
Peekaboo.
Lord.
And I was like, stop. I was like, stop. And I could hear in the EST, he's calling me like Catherine, and I kept saying, I'm not Catherine. Please back away from me. He just got way too close. And I just like went, and they're like, you can hear my team in the background on the video. They're like, did she just hit a ghost? Like there was someone there. I was like, yeah, I tried to knock him out, but he wasn't real. So nothing happened.
Please tell me you have that on camera and I can see it sometime.
You can see it sometime. It's on camera. It's on camera, as well as everyone laughing at me going, did you just have to but yeah, it happens where they get too close. He was just trying to be a friendly old man. He thought I was some young girl named Catherine. He was trying to play peekaboo with me. I just wasn't having it at that point. But that's a rare situation, people. Never had a ghost play peekaboo with me before. I hope it never happens again. I really do. But I'm talking about like what people see on the shows. Like, so say you, when we go into a place, we try not to make assumptions. I typically am going in blind because I'm one of the sensitives. So I don't know the history much or anything like that, but some people do. But there's some type of hypothesis that the team has as to what they think is going on based on history, interviews, and just preliminary stuff. And we watch these paranormal TV shows, and people, teams, I don't want to name any host adventures, go in confrontationally to begin with because they assume they're dealing with, I hate using the D word, but a demon or something really bad. And they go in and they're like, you will stop picking on this family, and you will deal with me now. And I just.
First of all, if it is a demon, do you think they're going to go, oh, my bad?
Yeah.
They're going to come worse if you go in with that. So I hope if nothing else, that people come away from this show and go, okay, confrontational is not good. Let's not be like, Zach.
That's right. Yeah. Let's not, because you don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know what you're dealing with. And then reversely, if you think, okay, I'm going to go into this and I'm going into people's homes, and people have different motivations, but let's say it's to help people. People are the dead people too.
Yes.
And as we just discussed before, maybe someone's being a jerk because, I don't know, for some reason that we don't understand. I don't know. Either they passed tragically. Maybe I've seen it where it's been someone who's very lost and just really scared.
Yeah.
So going in and assuming and being negative and cold to them to try and produce a reaction. So whether you're trying to get your equipment to go off, or you're trying to get an EVP, or you're trying to get some type of big reaction on camera that you can say, there it is. To me, that's wholeheartedly unethical.
Right.
Like, I'd rather get no information than go in and just be nasty to the spirits that are living there, because those are people. We might have to get like firm with them as we go, like you said, because you learn maybe they're bullying the homeowners or they're bullying other spirits there. But I don't think we can go in and treat an apparition in a hostile manner right off the bat. I think we have
Right.
to treat it like it's a person first.
Probably if you go in like that
Yeah.
anyway, it's gonna push all of them away. First of all, when you go into a place, they don't want you there anyway. It's their place, and
Mm-hmm.
you're coming into their home, and I'm talking spirits. So, they don't want you there anyway. And if you come in confrontational, they're just gonna go against the wall like, fine, go ahead and scream all you want. You ain't getting jack from us.
No. And sometimes they do that with before you even say a word. You will have our medium in there, and they'll go, they're just moving from whatever room you're into a different room
Hmm.
right now.
Yeah, yeah, just going away from you.
Yeah.
So just be courteous, like you would like other people to be courteous to you. You'll get so
And
much more, so
if
much
you
more.
if you think about it, yeah, it's like you're going into their house, you're a guest. So you're a guest of the clients, but you're a guest of them as well because they live there.
Mhm.
And you do not walk into someone's house and the first thing you say to them when they open the door is, "Why are you here?" Like, you know, they're like, "I live here. Why are you here? What do you want?" Let's turn this around. No, you have to go in, and I don't know how your team does it. We like to go in, we'll introduce ourselves, we'll explain why we're there. Um, we'll tell them like we're here just as much for you as we are for the homeowner. So if there's something you need to tell us, and then even then, it could take a really long time before they get comfortable with you enough to actually say something.
Mhm. And I think we talked about that on another show where, getting evidence within a 2 to 4 hour time span is sometimes really, really hard.
Oh yeah.
Even up to 24 hours, it can be really difficult because the spirits just do not want to talk to you at that point. There might be something they want to tell you, but you're gonna have to, let them warm up to you and get used to you being around before they'll come across and tell you what really needs to happen. Other ones, will talk right away.
Right.
So you just never know going into a haunting or any place really what you're gonna get.
No, you don't. And I feel like sometimes there's difference because if you're going into a place where there hasn't been investigators, it probably seems very odd to them, as opposed to if you're going into one of these places where investigators are there like all the time, one of
Yeah,
the spots where and they do tours.
yeah,
Sometimes they're sick of it and they don't want to have any of it. And then sometimes they're just used to it and they like it or they find it funny. So
yeah.
sometimes those places, I don't even trust anything they say because if that was me, I'd be like, I'm like Lenore because that's my ghost name now. I'm picking it from Angel's Lip. I when I'm dead, everybody better call me Lenore.
Lenore.
Um, I'm Lenore, and I'm from 1802 France. Like I don't have to be me. I'm dead. You know what I mean? So who knows?
Yeah,
But going into someone's house is completely different. You have to sort of build a rapport with them a little bit. I don't know.
you do. You do.
You should. You should. I went on an investigation. Have you done Waverly Hills?
No, I have not. I had a chance and I've not been there yet.
How far is that from you?
Bucket list. Not too terribly far. Maybe 3 hours.
I gotta
Not
meet. We
bad.
gotta. We gotta book Waverly, Sin. We gotta book Waverly. That would
That
be
would be
fun. I had such a good experience there. I went there for a strange escape. So I had Amy Bruni and Adam Barry were with me, and we're
wow.
investigating. And they're just, people talk about paranormal TV personalities, but I've actually learned so much from them. Like they were so good. So Adam had this way of speaking with the spirits there, and they had done Waverly a bunch of times, so they kind of knew. So the nurses station, the nurses floor, instead of going in and asking them, how did you die? What did you do? he went in with a clipboard and he asked them, "Hi, I'm here from the state and I'm taking a survey from the nurses about your experience on dealing with tuberculosis." Like he spoke to them as if he was there with them while they were doing their job, because we knew from previous investigations that had happened there, the nurses are there, they're still very active and they're doing their job. They feel they're taking care of people.
Yeah.
So he, we had the equipment out. When he would ask a question, it wouldn't be like, "How did you die? Who are you?" It would be questions like, "On a scale of 1 to 10, how afraid are you of contracting tuberculosis?" And everything would go crazy.
Wow.
And it was just like incredible. Like I had never thought of it that way, of actually speaking to these spirits as if you're there with them in their time. And they were really receptive to it. And then at the end, he said, actually, just so you know, it's this time. And you helped to squash this terrible disease that killed so many people. And we thank you for your service. And we've learned so much from everything that you did. And we understand that you're still here and you're still wanting to take care of people and you're still doing your job, but you don't have to be. But we want to tell you thank you. And he read an article about like the end of the tuberculosis pandemic, and then everything started going crazy again.
Wow.
And it's just so cool. Like such a different way of relating to people, like in a historical location that were obviously there, and they were the energy they give. Those nurses must have given their entire. You're a nurse, right? You must they must have given. I'm sure many of them did give their lives to
They
help
had to
save these people.
I could never be a nurse. I could never. I was a physical therapy assistant, so I was on the physical side, helping people walk and getting stronger and that kind of thing. But nurses, I've got several friends that are nurses, and let me tell you what, they have bigger hearts than anybody I've seen, and go through more than most people can and even think about enduring. So
I don't know why, but it's some of these historical places I've been to, it's those occupations where people seem to hang around. A lot of times it's nurses and doctors. On ships, it seems to be like the military, like, the Marines or the seamen or whatever, they're still there on those ships. But they're always still doing their job. I don't know. And they'll interact with you. So it's not like it's just a residual haunting. It's not a recording. They're there, but they're still working. And I can't imagine the dedication. Like that you pass and you're still trying to give.
Yeah. Still trying to give.
Yeah, you're still trying to give. And it's those types of jobs like, firemen, doctors, nurses, all those types of things. So it's for those spirits.
Think back 9/11.
Yeah.
All the firemen that were lost. I mean, come on. How heroic to know that you're going into a building that it is not safe, and you're probably going to end up giving your life one day. It might not be today, but that's what they sign up for.
That's what you sign up for.
Incredible humans, policemen, sheriff's departments. I think they are incredible people.
Yep.
It's amazing what they do. And especially, how crazy everything's gotten.
Mm-hmm.
They're even having to go through more now than ever. And so it's scary. It's really scary out there.
It is. And thank God we are where we are today with the technology and the medicine to where we've come, because having to have an entire huge place like Waverly Hills built just to house people that are dying from tuberculosis is just incredible. I won't say anything else about medicine, because you guys know that your last episode of the news where you're talking about VACCINES got taken down and flagged by YouTube.
We're not talking about that.
No, we're not talking about that. Not talking about anything
Ever-
else medical. Nope, nope, nope. No YouTube. We're talking about ghosts. All ghosts.
Yep, we are.
Yep. Nope. We're not giving anyone any advice on anything YouTube. This is all allegedly ghost stuff.
Exactly.
All right. I think that's probably it. That was a really good conversation. Thank you so much. I love you.
This is fun. This
It
is fun.
is.
Again, I apologize for this weird setup, but like, I'm
I
again.
can see a little glow in your face, and I could hear your beautiful voice, and you have good things to say. So it's all good. You were here with me because I was like, I'm gonna have to do 101 by myself, and what is that gonna look like? It's not gonna be good. But yeah, I love doing this show. So if you're ever free on a Thursday night and you just feel like popping in, you're always welcome. Just let us know.
Sure.
You too. You got anything else you want? When's the Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo? Remind us.
Yes, that is October 21st, Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo at the Nashville Fairgrounds, Expo Building number 2. There's only $10 to get in. There's a $5 parking charge, but you can get your tickets online if you don't want to pay there. 75 vendors. They were shooting for 80, but I think they're right at 75 right now. And it's everything. What they did was kind of vet people, and they're not having 50 people with crystals. Yeah, I mean, it's a very spread out. They've even got a person that sells nails stuff. I mean, so it's going to be a little bit of everything. There's some craft. Of course, there's mediums there and of teams, and you can find all kind of spooky trinkets and just cool stuff. I love looking at all this stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you can have a reading while you're there. It's just a little bit of everything. $10 to get in. Most of the money they save a little bit to pay for next year, to rent. But most of the money is split in half. Half of it's going to Trousdale Place in Gallatin, which is an old historic place. And one thing that they need to have done, Eric told me the other day, is the foundation is cracking. So they're needing some updates, and they would use that money for updates. The other part of the money is going to Animal Rescue Corps, and they rescue dogs from puppy mills.
Oh, I love that.
It's incredible. They're incredible people. So your money is going to really good causes. Really good causes. Come out. It's from 9 until 6 on that Saturday, and I'm speaking at 3:45. So if you got questions for me or about legit or whatever, come ask me some questions. Tell me that you're watching legit. Make sure you're subscribing and all that good stuff. Thumbs up, please.
Yes.
And come listen to my speech. I'll, ask me some questions. I will answer them. If I don't know, I will tell you I don't know. And what else? It's going to be a fun day. It's going to be such a fun day. So I'm excited about it.
I wish I was closer. Closer.
I'll have my books. I won't have this last one. It's gonna be available though on Amazon by then.
Okay.
So I'll have the other 4 there.
That's awesome. I'm going to be speaking this weekend at a Paracon on Saturday.
Nice.
October 14th in Arcadia, Florida at the historic Heard Opera House. I think we're speaking at 2:45, and we are lecturing on the Gansfeld method, our parapsychological experiment, to sort of tune into our own psychic mediumistic, if I can speak, abilities. So we'll be lecturing there at the Arcadia Opera House, and then that's going to go towards admission is free. They're offering some other things like a ghost hunt, and that'll go towards benefiting restoration of the Opera House. But we're going to have there's going to be lots of teams with merch there as well. We're going to be selling Florida Paranormal stuff, and people can come and talk to me about that or legit and all sorts of other good stuff we got going on. What else did I want to mention? Oh, yes. Follow us on. Go ahead, Sam.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Go.
You're not going to forget yours.
No, I won't forget. I promise.
Okay. This Saturday, my team is going to be, it's not, Chrissy can't be there, but it's going to be me, Sean, my co-founder, and Walt, my mountain man hippie, are coming into the Fayetteville Lincoln County Library here in my home. And we are going to do a little question and answer period there from 1 until 4. I'll have my books there as well, but it's going to be more like a Paranormal 101. So come ask your questions, and we're going to tell you how we got started. We're going to tell you how we formed our group, what we do when we go out, what the equipment we use. We'll have it there so you can see it. What we don't like to do, what we do like to do, just a little bit of everything. So that's going to be fun. And that's a free thing. So come on out to the library.
I love that. Tell them to watch Paranormal 101 on legitpodcast.com to catch up.
Absolutely.
I am gonna download this handbook that nobody can see right now, and I am gonna actually post it, I think, on our website so that people can just have it.
That's awesome.
We'll see that, and then we can talk about it, and maybe people can send us questions. If you have questions for me, if you have questions for Sin, message us on our Facebook page, Legit Podcast, DOTCOM, spell it out. October 28th, Legit Podcast is going to be doing our first live stream paranormal investigation on Block Island. It'll be myself, King Michael, and Block Island Rick. We're going to be doing the old Surf Hotel, the old Oddfellows building, and I think those are the only two we're going to do. I'm going to try and keep it to the guys to 2 because it's a lot of investigating for one evening. But we're going to live stream that. I'm going to create an event on Facebook tomorrow. So yeah, follow Legit Podcast, DOTCOM everywhere to stay tuned for live updates from all of us. And Sin, Schrader Hill author. She is on our website. Beautiful Sin. I always love being on shows with you, Sin.
I love you so much. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. It was great. We had a really good conversation, and hopefully we'll see you again on 101. So good night to everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.